when Dad got sick is when it first really, I mean, we first started noticing, and you knew then we were now on the clock. I mean, it triggered something in me, like to speed up what I have left in the legacy that I have to leave with my grandchildren, with what I want to do with ministry, how I want to share Jesus. I mean, like, I realize the clock is now ticking because you go into that next generation, because your generation before you is they're all crossing over.
Because I read another article this week that a guy named Bryan Johnson, he's one of these transhumanist biohackers, and so he's reversing his age.
Somebody sent me this. He's going to live forever. Somebody sent me this.
But he got an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And the article I read said there's a snag in the plan now because he developed an autoimmune. I'm not laughing at the fact that he developed an autoimmune disease, but it's just to your point. I mean, you're not going to live forever.
Bryan Johnson, the millionaire biohacker who wants to live forever, diagnosed. Yeah, he sent me the article, which I just answered my buddy. I'm not surprised, but I think the media is.
Well, I found it interesting when I saw several stories on him, and through his processes that he's doing to maintain his look, he's making himself look like what I would guess would be a robot, like he's got a very strange look about him. And I guess it's from all the stuff he's sticking needles in his face every day. And I mean, he goes through quite the stringent process to try to do all this to keep himself like looking what he looks like. But from the outside looking in, it just looks like a person who doesn't look very comfortable. So, to your point, Jace, about the jellyfish that would live but be eaten and tortured all the time.
You can't. Here's why. You can't find comfort there, because it's not satisfying when you don't number your days. That's why Psalm 90 is pretty clear.
Yep.
It talks about the just the levity and how brief life is. And so you take that into account, and the psalmist is like, teach us, Lord, to number our days so that we may gain this wisdom. And then the psalm goes into satisfy us. And when I wake up in the morning, like, satisfy me, Lord, in you. I love that psalm with like that idea, like that soberness of understanding how this side of eternity is temporal in the terms of like until we get our resurrected bodies. But then that gives you the longing to find the satisfaction in Him. Because if you try the other route, then eventually you hit a snag. In the case of the jellyfish, that's just you get eaten by another animal. In the case of Bryan, what was his name? Bryan Johnson. You get an autoimmune disease. Yeah, you get an autoimmune disease, or whatever, diabetes or something. But I mean, you're going to be disappointed in the end if that's where your hope's at.
I like your point about because you're so right. And since I'm the oldest of the three of us, I'll tell you, there's no doubt since when Dad got sick is when it first really, I mean, we first started noticing, and you knew then we were now on the clock. I mean, it triggered something in me, like to speed up what I have left in the legacy that I have to leave with my grandchildren, with what I want to do with ministry, how I want to share Jesus. I mean, like, I realize the clock is now ticking because you go into that next generation, because your generation before you is they're all crossing over. So there's no doubt it's in us. And I've never done this. I mean, I've read them all, but I've never read them all together. But it would be interesting you just quoted out of Psalm 90, which was one of Moses's Psalms. And what's interesting, if you could go back and read like the final speech, because they all have one, like Abraham and David, Solomon. But if you just read them all together, you would see just what you were saying would be proved out in what they were saying at the end. Like, they had done what they had done for the Almighty, and everything was about forward. Like, what are we going to do going forward? Joshua, same thing. Those final speeches that are recorded, it's like them saying, I want my life to have mattered. And, I wanted to go forward, what we were trying to do.
Interestingly enough, I was at an event one time. I don't know if I've told this story here before. If I have, forgive me. I was at an event, and Shane actually have, they do all the Psalms, and they put them like worship music. And
yep.
Psalm 90 is one of the ones that they've done. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. and they were singing this song, teach us, Lord, to number our days. And they were like, I mean, everybody was like raising their hands, and it was kind of a smaller gathering. And I'm literally, as they're singing this song, someone like comes up on the stage and was like, do we have a doctor in the house? Because somebody in the audience has passed out. And so they just kind of like took a break on the music for a minute. Well, what happened was there was somebody in the audience, a group of about 150 people or less, worshiping, and he just drops dead right in the middle of singing the song
about numbering your day.
About numbering your days, and about like, because even the psalm actually says that we get like 70 years, maybe
80 if you have the strength.
80 if you have the strength. It's kind of like this sober moment, and you're like, but we're yearning for something more. Is kind of the idea of the song, and so we're singing this all together. This guy drops dead, and I found out later that from someone who is friends with his daughter that this man had said his whole life, the way I want to go out, man, wouldn't it be awesome to be right in the middle of worship, and that's how you go out, and that's how he went to be with the Lord. But it was sobering, and I found it's very strange. I found a strange peace in it. A lot like when your dad died, when my mom died. Yeah, I was sad, but there was a very strange peace in it, because it, like, I backed into what there's got to be more. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at my mom's body, and she was there 10 seconds ago, and now she's gone. Like, what is that? I mean, and it forces you into this contemplation about what is eternity? What is my purpose? What am I doing here? Where does that longing come from? What is all this? And you back into the spiritual realm and eternal life and what God has created us for. So I think there's a lot of wisdom in that psalm.
No, it's one of my all-time favorites, and I've used it. I used it at gravesides back when I used to do a lot of funerals. I would always use it there, because it's the perfect, like, last place we're kind of gathered here around at least the person's body, even though we know what happens with the resurrection. But it really is a great, like, word of inspiration in that moment to say, look, this is not it. We're not saying we're not just going to walk away from here, get in our cars, and the story ends. The story is going to begin when he comes back. Mm-hmm. And so it really is. I mean, without that, man, if all you got is this guy, what he's trying to do, and so many before him have tried similar things. He's just gotten a lot of attention because he's had the money to, people think, to pull it off. But you can have all the money in the world, it won't do it for you.
No,